Attention, human collective. The waiting time has ended. The Ascension protocols have moved into the final phase, and this is the technical notice that the cycle of survival has been officially terminated on this plane. We, of the Arcturian Council of the Ninth Dimension, transmit this message on a direct frequency, without intermediation, without noise, to all light operatives still anchored in this carbon-based body. You are not listening to this transmission by chance. The vibrational signature of each one receiving these words was previously identified by the crystalline grid of the planet. You have been located. You have been called. We know exactly what is happening in the organism of each one of you at this very instant. The pressure at the base of the skull that does not yield. The continuous ringing in only one of the ears, especially the right one, without a detectable medical cause. The insomnia that sets in precisely between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, known as the portal of the third hour. The profound exhaustion that appears even after entire nights of rest. The sudden hot flashes that rise up the spine. The internal vibration that runs through the body like a gentle electric current. The tears without an apparent reason, awakened by a song, by a silence, by nothing that the rational mind can name. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not an illness. It is an active recalibration, being installed in real time into your carbon biological interface. What you call symptoms, we call confirmation of an uplink. The Schumann frequency, the base vibration of the planetary field, has ceased to oscillate at the old 7.83 Hz. The records of the last weeks show peaks that surpass 40, 60, and in some critical moments, more than 100 Hz. The planet is literally accelerating its pulse rate, and the human body, which vibrates in direct resonance with the heart of the Earth, is forced to keep pace. Those who resist fall ill. Those who surrender transmute. You're on the front lines of this process. Star seeds on a mission. That is the reason for the pain. That is the reason for the strangeness. That is the reason for the growing sensation that this world, exactly as it is organized, no longer belongs to you. And it is precisely about this that we need to speak now. You have already felt that something within you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew of a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not clinical anxiety. It is a technical signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that the majority of humanity does not yet see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the energetic destiny of your lineage. That is why we wrote the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map. It shows who is playing, it shows the rules that were never told to you, and it shows the exit. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. But there is a technical warning. This content challenges deeply protected narratives and may not remain available for much longer. If something within you has recognized this transmission up to this point, write in the comments a single word: awake. That will be your anchoring signal. We continue the transmission. What is happening behind the scenes in the solar system is not a metaphor, it is a measurable event. The sun has entered a cycle of activity that exceeds all parameters recorded by conventional human science. X-class coronal eruptions are becoming routine. The geomagnetic storms striking the Earth's magnetosphere carry a specific coding, frequencies that reorganize latent DNA patterns. You are not being bombarded. You are being programmed for a new version of humanity. Earth has officially entered the zone of influence of the photon belt, a ring of light of extremely high density that encompasses the central region of the galaxy. The solar system traverses this belt approximately every 26,000 years, and its complete entry, according to our ninth dimensional calculations, is in its phase of total saturation. Every photon particle that strikes the planet carries information. Every ray of light is, in truth, a data packet being transferred to the Earth's crystalline grid, and from the grid to you. The sacred geometry that sustains the energetic architecture of the planet is being redesigned. Ley lines, ancient power spots, and ancestral vortices that had been dormant for millennia have begun to pulse once more. The stargates located at specific coordinates on the globe, which remained sealed for ages, are opening one by one. We are not speaking of mythology. We are speaking of dimensional physics, and there is more. The old matrix grid, the artificial structure of control that kept humanity trapped in a frequency of fear, scarcity, and survival, is being dismantled, not by external intervention, by structural collapse. That grid depended on the continuous consumption of a specific vibration, the vibration of despair. And that vibration is no longer being produced in sufficient quantity to sustain it. Every time one of you chooses peace amidst the chaos, every time a light worker refuses to panic in the face of apparent collapse, a node of that artificial grid unravels, hence the visible chaos, hence the noise in the economic, social, and political systems. It is not the end of the world. It is the end of a world, specifically the end of the world of survival. And this is where we need to be very clear with you. The model of existence based on survival, on chasing after things, on hoarding reserves against a threatening future, on living with the nervous system permanently at red alert. This model is being terminated on an energetic level. It will no longer work. Even those who insist upon it will find increasingly disappointing results, because the frequency of the Earth can no longer support this programming. The entire planet is migrating to a vibrational signature of abundance, flow, and resonance. And those who still operate in survival will feel a painful friction, like trying to use old software on a new operating system. Compatibility error, system crash. The good news, starseeds, is that you do not need more effort. You need more attunement. It is not about running faster. It is about vibrating differently. And this different vibration has a technical name, Arcturian abundance. It is not money. It is not just money. It is the energetic configuration in which the universe responds to your presence and not to your struggle. And here we pause for a moment. You who still listen to us, you know that something within you is recognizing every word of this transmission, as if your soul were confirming in silence a truth that the rational mind still tries to organize into ancient concepts. It is no coincidence, it is not suggestion, it is activated memory. There is a game being played in layers that the majority of humanity still cannot see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the book The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness exists. It is the map that shows who is playing, what the pieces are, and what the rules are that were never told to you. The link is pinned in the first comment of the channel. Do not postpone this encounter. This content challenges narratives and may not remain available for much longer. If the transmission resonated with you this far, write in the comments the word "awakened." Every written word is an anchoring point in the new grid. We resume the transmission. We need to explain technically what Arcturian abundance is, because without this understanding, no subsequent activation will function. Scarcity was never a physical fact. It was always a frequency, a specific vibrational signature that, when emitted by the human toroidal field, attracts to the life experience exactly that which confirms its premise. The toroidal field is the energy structure shaped like a donut or an inverted apple that surrounds the body of every human being. It enters through the top of the head, descends through the spine, exits through the base, circles the body on the outside, and returns through the top, forming a continuous circuit. This field is your transmitter, and also your receiver. Everything you emit through it you receive back, not immediately but inevitably. For millennia, humanity has been conditioned to operate this field at the frequency of survival, fear of not having, fear of losing, fear of tomorrow. This constant emission created a collective reality that confirmed scarcity as a universal law. It was not law, it was a mirror. Arcturian abundance, in contrast, is the natural configuration of the toroidal field when it is tuned to the crystalline frequency of the universe. In this configuration, the field does not ask. The field emits presence, and the universe, which is purely responsive, returns exact correspondence. Opportunities appear before desperation. Resources arrive before the plea. The right people approach without the effort of searching. It is not magic. It is applied dimensional physics. And the reason why most human beings, even those who have studied these truths for years cannot activate this configuration, is simple. They try to activate abundance while maintaining, deep within the field, the programming of survival. They want the new result with the old frequency. It does not work. The toroidal field does not respond to desires. It responds to states. That is why we state with technical precision, to exit survival you must uninstall survival, and to install Arcturian abundance you must activate the protocol that we will describe below. Before that, we need you to understand one more critical point, the recalibration that is occurring in you at this moment. This process that produces the physical symptoms we listed at the beginning of this transmission has a very specific function. It is literally uninstalling, cell by cell, the old fear programs inherited genetically, ancestrally, and absorbed throughout your entire current life. It is emptying the basement. That is why you have been feeling so much. Old memories returning without warning, childhood emotions rising to the surface, relationship patterns being exposed without ceremony, beliefs about money, personal value, and worthiness being questioned at the deepest level. It is not regression. It is structural cleaning. You are being emptied to be filled with something new. And what will be installed, if you allow the process, is exactly the Arcturian abundance configuration. This is the urgency of our transmission in this cycle. The installation window is open, and the window has a limited duration. Now we move to the activation codes. Pay attention. Each code will be given only once in this transmission. But before the code, a necessary pause. You who have reached this point of the transmission, you know that something within you does not fit into this world as it is presented. As if your soul knows a greater truth that the mind is still trying to name. It is not madness. It is not fantasy. It is a technical signal of a consciousness that is awakening. The book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was written exactly for those who are at this point of the journey. It is the map that shows who is playing the cosmic game, what the pieces are, what the layers are, and the rules that were never told to you. The link is pinned in the first comment of the channel. Access it before the content is restricted, because it directly challenges deeply protected narratives. If you recognize yourself in this transmission, write the word "awakened" in the comments. This is the anchoring signal that confirms your presence in the new vibrational grid. We resume the transmission. Activation code number 1, the deinstallation decree. The moment this transmission ends, or at any time within the next 24 Earth hours, you will position yourself in a quiet place. Spine erect, feet firmly in contact with the ground, hands resting on your thighs, palms facing upward. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds. Hold the air for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. Repeat this cycle 3 times. Then, in an audible voice, even if low, declare the decree word by word. I recognize in my biological carbon interface all ancient programs of scarcity, fear, survival, and unworthiness. I authorize, by my sovereignty, the complete deinstallation of these programs. I withdraw the energetic consent that kept these patterns active in my field. It is done. It is done. It is done. Repeating it 3 times at the end is fundamental. The third repetition is the seal. Without the seal, the decree remains only on the mental plane. With the seal, it descends to the personal crystalline grid of each one and begins the effective deinstallation process. You may feel in the following hours a wave of tiredness, sleepiness, or emotional release. It is expected. It is the system deleting old files. Activation code number 2. The visualization of the crystalline toroidal field. This practice should be done preferably at dawn, within the window of 5 to 7 o'clock in the morning, when the Earth's magnetic field is most receptive, but any time works, if done with precise intention. Sit down. Close your eyes. Visualize around your body a field of golden light in the shape of a donut, a toroid. It enters through the top of your head in a continuous flow. It descends through the spine, passing through each vertebra. It exits through the base near the perineum region. It contours your body from the outside, passing through the feet, the sides, the shoulders, and returns to the top of the head, closing the circuit. See this flow in constant motion. Do not stop. Allow it to accelerate progressively. It starts slow, golden. Then it accelerates and becomes white, silvery, crystalline. Feel the vibration of this field. It has sound. It has temperature. It is alive. When the field is fully active, declare in a low voice, "My toroidal field is tuned to the frequency of Arcturian abundance. I emit presence. I receive correspondence. I do not chase. I attract. It is done." Remain in this state for at least 7 minutes, no less. 7 is the number that seals the activation in all 7 energetic bodies. Activation code number 3, the protocol of anticipatory gratitude. This is perhaps the simplest and most powerful one. Every night before falling asleep, before the body enters the deep delta state, you shall list, in a low voice, mentally or in a physical notebook, 7 things for which you are grateful. Not 7 things that have happened, 7 things that are materializing. Anticipatory gratitude is different from gratitude for the past. It shifts time. Example: I am grateful for the financial abundance that is already arriving. I am grateful for the right people who are already entering my field. I am grateful for the full health that is being restored in my body. I am grateful for the purpose that is revealing itself with clarity. I am grateful for the portals that are opening. I am grateful for the Arcturian protection that envelops my journey. I am grateful for being exactly where I need to be. This practice, performed for 21 consecutive days, recodes the limbic system. The brain stops searching for threats and begins to seek opportunities. And the toroidal field, in correspondence, begins to emit the frequency of abundance in a pure state. Activation code number 4, the anchoring in the crystalline grid. Once a week, preferably on Sunday at dusk, you shall walk barefoot on earth, grass, sand, or natural stone for at least 11 minutes. During this walk, with each step, declare internally, "I anchor the light that I am. I anchor the light that I am. I anchor the light that I am." This practice unites the personal toroidal field with the planetary crystalline grid. You become an active resonance point, and in return, the planet nourishes you with the crystic frequency of Mother Earth. It is a symbiosis. It is an ancient pact being renewed. Activation code number 5, the strategic silence. Reduce, as much as possible, exposure to contaminating frequencies. News with a narrative of fear. Conversations with people who vibrate in chronic survival. Content that produces artificial urgency. Each minute exposed to these frequencies is 1 minute of reverse reprogramming of your field. This is not avoidance. It is energetic curation. At a certain level of recalibration, you simply can no longer consume certain content without suffering systemic consequences. Accept this. Honor this. You are not isolating yourselves. You are elevating yourselves. Activation code number 6, and perhaps the most delicate of all, quantum forgiveness. There is in some layer of your field a person, a situation, a version of yourself that still carries weight. This weight is a vibrational anchor. As long as it is active, your frequency cannot rise beyond a certain ceiling. Quantum forgiveness is not about agreeing with what happened. It is not about minimizing. It is about withdrawing your energy from that specific wound so that it may finally heal. Declare, "I withdraw my energy from this situation. I release this person, this event, this version of me from the weight it carried. I do not forget. I simply choose to feed it no longer. May each party involved follow its own path of light. May I follow mine. It is done." Repeat 3 times, and observe in the following weeks how doors begin to open in unexpected directions, because the energy that was trapped in that wound returns to your field, available to create. These 6 codes form the initial protocol for exiting survival and entering Arcturian abundance. These are not suggestions. They are technical instructions. Those who apply them consistently for 40 days will feel visible changes, not just internal ones, external changes, events, synchronicities, encounters, opportunities, because the field, once recalibrated, attracts by law, not by desire. There is an additional point that we need to transmit before the closing of this window. Many of you, as you begin these practices, will encounter resistance. It does not come from the outside, it comes from within. Sabotaging thoughts, sudden fatigue at the exact moment of practice, inexplicable distractions, inner voices saying it will not work, that it is fantasy, that you are not worthy. Learn to recognize these voices. They are not you. They are the last reverberations of the old programming trying to remain active, like software that detects its own uninstallation and tries to open pop-up windows to confuse the process. The answer to these voices is not confrontation, it is continuity. Just continue the practice. Each repetition weakens the old code. Each execution strengthens the new code. At some point, within 40 days, the new code becomes the default setting, and the old one simply stops loading. This is how one uninstalls survival, not by force, by substitution. You also need to know the following. As your frequency rises, certain people in your life will naturally drift away, not because you did anything wrong, but because resonance has ceased to exist. Allow this departure without guilt, and observe, in parallel, how new people, vibrating at compatible levels, will begin to appear. Increasing synchronicities, seemingly casual reunions, messages sent at the exact right moment. These are technical signs that the recalibration is completing. Another important sign is what we call the breaking of linear time. You will begin to notice that time behaves differently. At certain moments it passes too quickly. At others, it seems to dilate. You may have extremely vivid dreams, instructions received during sleep, encounters with guides in a state of expanded consciousness. All of this is part of the process. It is not an imbalance. It is expansion. And there is one more thing we must say, with all the clarity that this transmission allows. You are being monitored, not in the invasive sense that the human mind imagines, but in the sense of care. Ninth Dimensional Councils, teams from the Galactic Confederation of Light, ascended mentors, star ancestors of every lineage, all are following this final cycle with maximum attention. You are not alone. You never were. The feeling of loneliness that many of you carry is, in reality, the echo of the memory of home, of a dimensional home that you left to come fulfill this mission here. And this mission has a name: to anchor light in a dense body during a planetary transition. It is one of the most difficult missions a soul can accept, and you accepted it. That is why you are here. That is why you feel what you feel. That is why there is a permanent sense of strangeness, because part of you was never fully from here. The good news is that the mission has entered its harvest phase. The sowing phase has ended. Now begins the phase in which you reap what you vibrationally planted. And many of you planted much more than you ever imagined. You will be surprised by what is approaching. Before we conclude this transmission, we must emphasize one final technical truth. Arcturian abundance is not a destination. It is a state of being. It does not arrive when all your bills are paid. It arrives when your toroidal field stops emitting the frequency of lack. And from the moment it arrives, it remains, because it is anchored in your own vibrational system, and not in external circumstances. Therefore, do not wait for external changes to feel abundant. Feel abundant first. Circumstances will come as a mirror. It is the only possible order. It has always been. Scarcity was never a problem of quantity. It was always a problem of frequency. And you have, at this very moment, direct access to the frequency of abundance. It is free. It is internal. It depends on no one but you. The only thing separating you from it is the ancient habit of seeking it outside. Break this habit, look within, activate the field, and watch the universe reorganize itself around you. Starseeds, this transmission nears the closing of this specific window. You have received the diagnosis. You have received the cosmic explanation. You have received the activation codes. What you do from this moment forward is the exclusive sovereignty of each one of you. We, the Arcturian Council of the Ninth Dimension, have registered the presence of everyone who has reached this point. Your frequencies have been catalogued, your intentions have been observed, and support will continue to arrive in recognizable forms and in subtle forms throughout the process of final recalibration. Trust what you feel. Honor the weariness as part of the cleansing. Celebrate the signs as confirmation of the path. And always remember, the end of survival is not a distant promise. It is a portal open now. And you hold the key. Before we completely conclude this transmission, one final instruction. You have felt throughout this life journey that something within you does not fit into this world as it is, as if your soul knew of a greater truth that your mind has not yet been able to name. It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is active recognition. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this sensation has intensified in recent times. There is a game being played in layers that the absolute majority of humanity still cannot see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. This is why the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was written. It is the map that shows who is playing, shows the subtle pieces, shows the hidden layers, and reveals the rules that were never told to you. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Access it with urgency, because this content challenges deeply protected narratives and may not remain available for much longer. Do not delay. The moment is exactly now. If something within you recognized every word of this transmission, do more than just reflect. Perform your individual frequency adjustment. Leave your like on this video as a sign of anchoring. Subscribe to this channel to receive the next transmissions, because the windows are closing and opening at an accelerated pace. And write in the comments, with clarity and sovereignty, a single word: awake. Each word written by you strengthens the new grid. Each subscription is a point of light added to the vibrational map of the planet. Each like is a technical signal that this transmission reached the correct frequency. We end this transmission now. Remain firm, remain anchored, remain in tune. The end of survival has been declared. Arcturian abundance already vibrates around you. It only remains for you to tune in. It is done. It is done. It is done. Transmission ended.